everybody. So I hope you're enjoying the snow that we're getting today. So just wanted to go ahead and do a little tutorial on the mat game. I know that some of you have played the mat game already in class, but I wanted to break it down, especially for puppy kindergarten and for anybody else who's looking for something to do with their pups, especially if the weather's not really good and you can't really get out and about. I know right now a lot of us are home a little bit more than usual, and your pups may not be getting their normal hikes. Maggie right here, she might be 12 and a half years old, but she's used to hiking mountains and everything. And Radar is gonna practice being patient and waiting his turn over on the bed over here while Maggie works. So here's the thing. Physical exercise is great for your pups. It's gonna burn off a lot of energy and it's gonna help them stay healthy. But then on the other side, sometimes too much physical exercise can actually be detrimental because the more they get, the more they need. So what I really like doing is mixing in some mental enrichment with my dogs while I'm, throughout the day. So Maggie and Radar and I spend a lot of time doing training. And this sort of training I'm gonna introduce to you today with the mat game is such a great way to burn off their energy. So what's gonna happen is that a mat, similar to this blanket right here, Maggie's actual mat is in the laundry right now, so, oh hi, I know, is gonna eventually be a cue to lay down and relax without me saying anything to my dog. So that's what I want you guys to remember. As humans, we have such a hard time not telling our dogs what to do. I want you guys to really try hard not to tell them to sit or lay down. So just pretend you don't even know what to name that cue. I don't want you to even use any words. All you're gonna be doing is saying yes or good or click or both when your pup does anything positive with their mat, okay? We're gonna use something called shaping. That's gonna be one of the methods we're gonna use for the mat game. And the shaping game is great because it breaks a behavior down into baby steps. Your dog gets a little bit more feedback more often. It boosts up confidence really well. And it really allows your dog to use their brain on their own. We need to give our dogs a chance to be dogs and use their brain and their energy for good. So with Radar and Maggie, if I can find ways to allow them to figure things out on their own, they pick up on it faster and they remember it longer. So with the mat, I'm gonna pretend that Magpie has never played this game before, so we're gonna break it down into baby steps for you. Again, you can use anything. I prefer something that's not their dog bed, because when you're not doing training with it right now in the early stages, I want you to roll that mat up and put it away. And the reason for that is if you're working with this with your puppy, and I know you're deflating, I hear that. If you're working on the mat game with your puppy and it's a fairly new thing, if they go and lay down on the mat and nobody's there to reward them, they're gonna say, well, that was kind of silly. Why do I wanna go sit on my mat if I'm not gonna get a hot dog for it every time? So in the early stages, while we're trying to build a really fun, positive association with the mat, I want you to put it away unless you're doing training. Once they get the concept of the game, then leave the mats out all over the house. You can eventually use this mat to help your pups learn how to wait patiently for their turn, how to wait patiently on their mat when somebody comes to the door, how to be nice and calm when you're at visiting relatives. Basically, I use the mat for everything with my dogs. And it makes it a lot easier to travel with them too. So here's what you're gonna do. You got your treats, you got your cute little dog, or big dog, you've got your mat, and you're gonna go ahead and start acting like this mat is the most awesome thing you have ever seen in your life. Your dog is gonna look at you like you have 10 heads, but that's okay, just go with it. Radar, you wait, good boy. And for those of you with multiple dogs, guys, what Radar's doing over here, he's still training. Even though I'm focusing on Maggie over here, by me rewarding Radar every so often for being nice and calm, he's learning how to wait his turn. So that's what you guys can do if you have multiple dogs. Otherwise, you can put your other dog in another room with a Kong or a Marabone to chew on, or even in their crate. And that way you can focus just on one dog and then eventually work with both of them together. So with Maggie, I'm gonna say, hey Mag, look at this thing. Isn't this the coolest thing you have ever seen? I know, it's the best thing ever. And I'm gonna have some treats ready. And I'm gonna get ready to throw the mat on the ground. Yes, good job. And Maggie runs right over. So look what I'm doing, guys. I'm feeding her one treat after another as long as she's on the mat. That tail is going. She says this is the best thing in the world. And then she's had enough cookies for that. I'm gonna invite her off. Okay. Yes, good girl. Notice she got no cookies when I called her off the mat. The cookies only rain from the sky when she goes back towards the mat, okay? I hope that makes sense, everybody. I almost got ready to ask you if it makes sense, but okay, we'll just go with it. So I feel like she's had enough cookies now for hanging out on the mat. I'm gonna call her off. Okay. Yes, good girl. You can see she's like, wait a minute, I want the Pez dispenser to start working, so I better head back to my mat again. This is a great first step on helping your pup learn that the mat means something great. So again, invite your pup off. They don't get any cookies. Yes, the moment they head back to the mat, drop those cookies like crazy on the mat for them as a reward. And then reward your other dog for being patient. So, good job. Okay. Maggie. Hey, Meg. Yes, good girl. Radar, back on your bed, please. And that was my fault. So you guys saw that Radar broke his place. Radar, wait. And that's because I said okay, and okay is a release cue for my dogs. And I did not clarify which dog I was talking to. So that was my fault, not his fault. So you saw I did not get mad at him. I ignored him for a second so I could keep working with Maggie, and then I got him relocated back to his mat. You stay. Maggie. So no more cookies here. Wait. Yes, good job. What a good girl. All right, so that's step one, guys. Again, put the mat on the ground. As long as your pup is on the mat, keep those cookies falling. Hang on a second. Invite your dog off every so often. No treats when they leave the mat. The moment they head back, the cookies rain from the heavens again, okay? Good boy, Radar. You wait. All right, next step. Okay, Mag, can I have your mat back? Here we go. Next step is a great way to burn off their energy. So again, I'm gonna show her I have this cool mat. I mean, look, honestly, this looks like a really, really nice fuzzy blanket. I'm gonna drop it on the ground, and every little interaction she has with it, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna toss a treat the other direction. I'm gonna send her away. I wanna see if she's learning to orient back to the mat. All right, ready? Yes. Yes. So in the early stages, the moment she heads towards it, yes. She gets a treat. Yes! So I'm breaking this down into baby steps for you. Yes! Maggie is pretty good at running right back. Yes! So I'm trying to stop her with a treat before she runs and slams that into a down. Yes! So in the early stages, when she orients to it, yes! The moment she heads in that direction, I'm saying yes and tossing a treat. Now I'm gonna wait. Yes! 1 foot touched. Yes! Yes! Yes. Yes. I'm gonna wait her out. Yes. So what I did there, guys, again, I broke it into smaller steps than I usually would do with Maggie at this stage. I started by rewarding her, good girl, Maggie, good job, good boy, Ray, just for orienting back to the mat, because I want her to realize when she heads to the mat, that's where the cookies come from. And then I started to wait. I stopped rewarding her just for orienting to the mat, and I waited for her to sniff it or to put a foot on it. She got rewarded a few times for that. Then I waited again. I upped my expectations a little bit more, and maybe 3 paws on the mat. Then all of a sudden, all 4 paws. And then I waited her out, and she dropped into her down. When she dropped into her down, don't know if you saw, I rewarded one treat right after another, called a jackpot, and she got jackpotted right on her mat. And because of that, she's going to start to learn that, wait a minute, I get a lot more cookies when I run to my mat and drop into a down than if I just keep looking at it from a distance. So I'm going to send her away again, and I'll show you that jackpot one more time. Go get it. Yes, good girl, Maggie. That was very good. So this is how you can start to shape your pup to run to their mat, drop into a down, and without having to say anything. You could hear, I didn't say sit, I didn't say down, I didn't say anything to her aside from yes and good girl and you're awesome. And that's what I'm looking for, guys. So again, try really hard not to say sit, try hard not to say down. Don't tell your dogs what to do. Just go ahead and move that mat around the room you're working on. So I'm gonna pick it up. Ready? I need your mat. Oh my God, I need your mat. Ready? Here you go, Maggie. Yes, good girl. And just have fun with it. And again, guys, you know, I could take Maggie and Radar and I could bring them into a busy location like into downtown Montpelier or wherever we're going. And I can go ahead and put them on their mat and say down. And okay, that's all well and good. They both know how to lay down, but If they're really jazzed up over a distraction, that does not help them calm their brain down. The whole process of your dog learning this game, that's how they relax. Ready, Mag? Go ahead. So if I take Maggie or Radar to a place where they might be a little stressed, yes, good girl. And I put their mat down and I take the baby steps to go ahead and mark and reward them for every interaction they have up with the mat. They actually start to relax a little bit more. So the process here is more important than the finished product, okay guys? And of course, I love the fact that whenever I throw a mat down now, both dogs run to it. So that's the whole goal, but I love the fact they're more relaxed. So I bring the mats with me when I go into town with Radar in particular. When he goes to a new place, he might have a hard time with a sit or a down, but I bring that mat out and he knows the game. The game helps him relax. It's like a grounding place for your dog. So when I go to workshops, I always have a mat. If I stay in a hotel, I have a mat. When I go camping, I have a mat. When Maggie did therapy dog work, she always had a mat. So again, it's a safety area. It helps your dogs relax. And actually, when I'm teaching classes and Maggie's with me, if the class gets really rambunctious and Maggie's like, okay, things are getting a little stressful, she's usually off leash helping me teach in the middle of the room. She'll actually leave me and she'll run over to her mat and she'll lay down. And that's, whew, okay, I gotta relax my brain a little bit. And then when she feels more relaxed, she just shows up and she's helping me teach again. So I let her have that downtime. The mat, that's her way of resetting her brain and calming herself down. And I love the fact that Maggie and Radar both think of their mats as a calming place. So, all right, I think I rambled to you guys enough about the mat game. I hope that helps you out a little bit. Send me an email, send me a text to let me know how things are going. And let me know if you have any questions. And have fun with the mat game. I want you to start in a familiar location in your house first and then move your mats all over the place. And once the snow finally is gone and the weather gets nicer, bring the mats outside and start playing in your yard too. And launch those cookies all over the place because your dogs can get exercise while they're working on mental enrichment. So it's a win-win. All right, guys, take care. Give the dogs extra treats for me and have a wonderful evening.